Grand Third Graders. We are going to take a look at our Week 19, Day 1 DMA. Thank you for coming back and checking your DMA every day. It's so important for you guys to make sure that you're keeping up these skills. So remember, our goal is to make sure that we stay fluent and making sure that these skills are always being reviewed, okay? So let's take a look at our first problem. Notice it says round each number to the nearest 100. Now, we're not rounding to the nearest 10, we're rounding to the nearest 100. So that means we've got to look at our hundreds place to decide what two hundreds each one of these numbers is between. Then subtract. So just as a reminder, remember that in your math notebook, you have this chart and it shows you your hundreds on each side of the number. So let's take a look at, and I'm just going to erase this from the last time. Let's take a look at 704. Well, 704, if you know where your 700 is, right here, here's 700. 704 would be between 700 and 710. However, we're not looking for the nearest 10, we're looking for the nearest 100. So the two hundreds that 704 is between is 700 and 800. So 700 being the hundreds place that we already see, and the next 100 being 800. So 704 would be right here. So if we were rounding to the closest 100, remember 50 is in the middle of our hundreds place. And so we would round down to 700 because it's close to 700. It's only 4 away, right? So 700 minus, now we're going to look at 567. Well, there's a 500 here in the hundreds place. So we know it's between 500 because of the 500, and it's between 600. Now 597 is right about here, between 590 and 600. 597 is here. So now let's look at the 200s it's between. Well, it's past the 550, and if it's 550 or higher, we round up to 600. So since we're rounding up, because 597 is right here, it's so close, it's 3 away, we know that it rounds to 600. So 704 rounds to 700, 597 rounds to 600, and so it says now subtract. So when we subtract 700 minus 600, or we subtract 600 from 700, you could say it that way also, we're going to get a difference of 100. Now, how do we check our subtraction? Well, we use addition. Is 100 plus 600 going to give us our total of 700? Yes. We can always check using addition. And so, yes, we know that this is correct because we checked our subtraction with addition. So now let's take a look at 9 times 4. I have 9 groups of 4. 9 groups of 4. Or, remember, I could switch these around, and I could also do 4 groups of 9. So I could do a group of 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's 9 objects in each group. 9, 9, 9, and 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18. And these two groups of 9 plus 9 are also going to be 18. Now, so that I don't have to count by ones, this is how we are making this more fluent. We are quicker, right? Efficient. That's what we call that, efficient. So 18 plus 18 is going to give us 36. So 4 times 9 is 36. 8 groups of 6. So we could count by sixes. 6, that's one group of 6. Add another group, that's 12. 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and finally add 6 more to 42, I get 48. So 8 times 6 is 48. The next problem has a letter here. I wonder what that's called. Well, when we put a letter in here to represent a number, we call this a variable. And that's going to be your clue word today in your discussion for your DMA clue word. So, variable, that's what you're going to put in today for your discussion. So a variable is just a letter that's representing a number. So 2 times blank, or n, is equal to 10. Well, if I have 10 objects, because that's my total number of objects, and I know that there are 2 groups, well, I want to know how many are in each group. That means I have to take 10 and put them in, separate them equally. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, there's my 10 total objects. I have 2 groups. Now I know that there's going to be 5 in each group because that's what this is telling me. I have 2 groups of 5, and 2 groups of 5 is 5 and 5, which makes 10. So again, remember this is your clue word today. It's called a variable. It's a letter that stands for a number. So let's see if we can remember to put that into our discussion today. I'm going to skip our word problem for just a moment, and I'm going to go to 36 divided by 9 equals 4. Well, we want a related multiplication fact. So if I took 36 objects and I put them into 9 equal groups, that would tell me I'd have 4 groups of 9. So what that tells me is I have 9 and 9 and 9 and 9. And you will notice that when we take these and add them all together, that gives us 36. Well, I can see that this could be a multiplication fact because I have 4 groups. I have 9 objects in each group, and my total, if I add all these groups of 9 up, is going to give me 36. Let's take a look at our word problem for today. It says, during the game, 36 players are sitting on 6 benches. The same number of players, that means they're equally sitting on each bench. The same number of players are sitting on each bench. How many players are sitting on each bench? So we don't want a total here. The question is not asking us for a total, it's asking us for how many players on each bench. We know our total players. We're breaking them up into groups, and the groups are the benches. So each of these benches is holding a certain number of players. We need to figure out how many players are going to be on each of the 6 benches. So I'm going to go to my back, and everybody else should also be showing me their work. So if I have 6 benches, and I'm just going to pretend that each one of these lines is a row or a bench. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Each one of these rows is a bench. So here's bench number 1, bench number 2, bench number 3, bench number 4, bench number 5, and bench number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, I'm going to take the 36 players and put them onto the benches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we add another 6, you'll notice that we're having a pattern of 6 and 6 is 12. So that's another 6. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Another multiple of 6. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24, which is another multiple of 6, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, and finally 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. So I took these 36 players, I divided them or placed them equally onto these 6 benches. Those are my groups. And you'll notice whenever I finished breaking them up, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players on each bench. Now, this is an array because I've taken my objects and I've divided them equally or shared them equally onto these 6 benches. Well, this is an array because they're in rows, right? That's what an array is. So now I can say each bench will have 6 players because 36 players shared equally or divided equally by 6 is 6 players each. So now I've shown my work by drawing myself a model here. I've written an equation to show my work, and I've also explained my thinking. So don't forget to go back into your folder today for Monday and put in the discussion word variable. Remember, a variable is a letter that stands for a number. See you later today for small group, and have a great Monday, guys, starting a brand new week of learning.